Hello, everyone. This week in the 365 Message Center show, we're going to talk about some updates to Microsoft Stream being able to insert components in our videos. It's kind of pretty sweet there. The co-organizer experience for when creating Teams Webinars is getting updated. We're excited about that and hope you are too. And then we're also talking about the removal of one of a feature that I've used a lot, FindTime, and what Microsoft has in store for replacing FindTime. Those messages and some more on this week's episode, so let's roll it.
$310.
We made it to 310. What?
Yep.
Is there any significance with the number 310? I don't know. I was trying to.
Well, you've got like golden wedding anniversaries of 50. Diamond, I think, is 60 years, and the 310th episode of your wedding is a miracle. So choose your element. I don't know. Radioactive titanium that glows in the dark.
That's like titanium that has spent time in Chernobyl or something. That'd be bad.
Yeah, why not?
That'd be terrible. So that's a wonderful topic that we'll leave for another episode. So you know when that episode publishes. Make sure you subscribe below, everyone, if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on audio podcast, that's awesome. Glad you found us. Make sure you subscribe to it and make sure that you listen to every episode so you can wait for when we talk about glow-in-the-dark titanium. Make sure you also give us a thumbs up. We'd greatly appreciate it. And, of course, where are we on socials? And which socials are we on, Daryl?
Every single one of them that matters. And our tag, we've managed to secure. We've paid a lot of people to release that particular handle from different various platforms because we own the rights to it, of course.
Yeah.
It is 365 MCS, people. So thank you, Elon Musk, for releasing that one on Twitter to us. That was great. And thank you also to that other guy from Facebook. What is his name again? Zuckerberg. Yeah, thank you for releasing 365 MCS on Facebook as well. That was very kind of you. Yeah, and it was great to be able to come to that peaceful accord of having those
Daryl, you're just
on
too much
two
sometimes.
Platforms that matter. I'm just digging.
You're just
digging a hole.
too much sometimes. I feel like people, regardless of the big hole that Daryl just dug himself, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. We'd greatly appreciate it. It lets us know you care. And also give us some comments as we go through here and talk about things. Make sure you leave us some comments on the video or on the socials at 365 MCS so we can discuss whether we talked about the things you wanted to talk about and whether we did a good job or not. I mean, if we didn't, maybe don't say that part. But
just complain about the air conditioning. It was too cold in the session room.
So I will say one thing before we jump in. I will say that I ran into a long term. I made that mistake again. I said that in an episode previously. I said long term and I meant long time. A long time listener, Sandy, she would often jump in when we were a live show. She would often jump in and chat and everything. I ran into her in Chicago, not physically, but I talked to her and she was like, I missed something. And I said, yeah, we covered that on the show. She's like, oh, I didn't know about that thing. And I'm like, well, if you kind of watch the show. And so she said she has carved out time every week to watch the show now. Hello, Sandy. And I think everyone should be like Sandy. Carve out time.
Yeah.
And you will stay entertained. Whether you're laughing with us or at us, whatever. As long as you're laughing, we're good with that.
Yep.
So,
we make it easy for you too because we put chapters in, so you can skip past all the sponsorship message and bad dad jokes. At least, you'll get some of them throughout the show, but you can skip to the details. You can find the chapters just along the bottom there. Just you'll click there and you'll get to that first message.
You should just listen and watch the whole thing.
That too.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Sandy. And so clicking to that first message, and some of you, maybe you have just arrived at this because you've skipped over all the garbage we've talked about beforehand.
It wasn't garbage. Come on. But, if you thought it was garbage and you downloaded, you took a video and you were like, hey, that was garbage, but let's put some other garbage in there. That's what this message is talking about. That's terrible. That was a terrible introduction. No, this is actually really cool. Microsoft Stream, add a survey, a poll, or quiz to a video at specific times. MC688632. This is functionality that actually was mentioned, I think, a little while back. I don't know if it was Mark on the product team or who it was talking about this, but being able to edit videos that you have stored in SharePoint and OneDrive, but being able to add, and this is using Microsoft Forms, which we all love Microsoft Forms here, being able to use that functionality and inserting a poll, like you're doing an instruction class, or you're doing maybe you did a webinar or something and you recorded it and now you're going to whatever, and you want to put quizzes or you want to put polls inserted in, you can most certainly do that now. So this will be like I said, using Microsoft Forms, you'll be able to create that form and then be able to include it when you're editing in the edit experience for the video. So Daryl, do you see this? I mean, all those examples I just gave, is that, can you think of any other examples of where you would use this?
Oh, I think how you would use it? Using out-of-the-box tools in M365 to create learning-styled content for your organization, the ability to add quizzes is just mint, right? It's not like you're going to necessarily take the form and confirm if people are answering the right answer, and if they don't, then they can leave the team. That's a bit drastic.
Well, I'm thinking about like a scenario where you might need to do some training. One thing I tell whenever I'm doing a session about sharing in Power BI, for instance, there's a way to share reports external to your company that are completely anonymous, basically. And I tell people to never, ever do that. It's called publish to web. I say never, ever, ever do that, except there's some exceptions, right? And but when I say for those exceptions, you should set up a security group and you should train people before you put them in that security group so that they can do that functionality. Well, this is great. Create some videos, put in a quiz in the video, and of course you go back to Microsoft Forms to see the results. And if they passed all the answers, they answered correctly of when functionality should be used or whatever, then you give them access. Stuff like that. I mean, this would be... we could sit here all day with this one message because I think we could come up with a lot of scenarios.
I'll add something along that same line, Daniel, and it's like, if you were doing this in real time and you stopped and you asked your audience a question, it's one, just getting them to sort of, hey, are you with me? Are we with me? Were you listening? Right. But secondly, like being able to do this in a virtual sense where it's on demand, you're asking that question, the right answer can be presented once you've answered in that form, and then you can carry on from there, and you've already created like a blip in the, actually that's really going to stick with me now because that point, I either got it right or I didn't.
Absolutely. So this will begin rolling out early December, finished in late December in standard release. Begin rolling out standard release in late January. So that'll be great. Well, let's stick with Stream and adding stuff. Okay? Microsoft Stream, add a hyperlink or text callout to a video at specific times. MC688631. Same way, we're talking about editing a video, being able to add a form, with a quiz or a survey or whatever. We're going to be able to do hyperlinks and text callouts. So I think this is kind of similar in the way that I'm doing a video, I've done some things, and I want to do some call-outs like, hey, look here, pay attention to this, doing some, having some text over this. This is a very important part, and you should remember this for a question, on the quiz later or something. I don't know. I mean, but making it a little more interactive. I feel like when people create videos, they feel like that's the end, and they have to produce this, be a use crazy software to make some whiz-bang video before they put it on their intranet for people to use, when maybe you could do it and then edit it and do these kind of things, insert it to bring the functionality and the experience that you want to bring. So this is the same rollout as the previous one we talked about. Early December, starting to roll out for targeted release, and standard starting to roll out late January. So really looking forward to this. And since they're adding this functionality, I wouldn't be surprised if they add some more around, editing and doing some additional other stuff too. So that should be exciting.
I guess the next step here would be supporting SCORM content. So you're able to create your video plus questions in various different forms, and then importing the SCORM kind of content to go along with that, so it's interactive. Fantastic.
Indeed.
Daniel, this next one is kind of still in the same area. It's around about Teams and running webinars, so they will eventually become videos and stream. Co-organizer experience updates in Teams, webinars and town halls. That's MC 688109. The co-organizers, it's a good role, definitely. When you're running a webinar, you need people to support you, especially if you've got like a large audience, and you've got to manage those things in the chat, and maybe also even the speakers if you've got quite a number of people to sort of switch between. So Microsoft are adding a few more capabilities to that in the meeting options. So far, co-organizers, the message says that were able to set event theming. They could manage registration and view the registrations, meeting options, view reports, but that was about it. And so there's some things that now they can do this as well. Co-organizers can edit event details. Yes, we don't have to just depend on the one person that created the event. They can publish it. They can cancel the event as well on behalf of. So your co-organizers. So once the co-organizer is added, they will have full parity of experience as the organizer. And one thing that was critical for me when we were using webinars to run trainings over and over was being able to get those attendance reports. I want to be able to download them and aggregate the information so we can report back to people who care about that. And now as a co-organizer, I don't have to just rely on the organizer. So this is a targeted release. We'll be rolling out in mid-January, expected to be complete late January, and for standard release rolling out early February and complete late February.
And I think this would be really, it's really good for, hey, you've got this webinar scheduled and the organizer is leading it, and then they get sick the day before or the day of.
Exactly.
Well, okay, exactly. I know you're about to cough up a lung and maybe you're in the emergency room or at the doctor's office, but could you please log in and cancel cancel the webinar?
Can you just give me your face, right?
Right.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Okay, now
I got this.
For those that on the audio podcast, Daryl was demonstrating on his phone to unlock it with his face.
I was holding my phone over the person who's laid out on a stretcher, just being pushed through the operating doors.
Nice. So anyway, I think for we're making light of this, but I mean it could be serious. But it's great. I think we've been waiting for this, and it's great to see that we can have that kind of parity there. So I'm excited about
that. Daniel, would you find green rooms to be quite a useful feature?
Yes, because you want to get organized before you start talking, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And, that's still possible in some ways, that you can make people wait in a lobby, and then Daniel and I can be sitting there getting all things set up and stuff. But sometimes we want people to come into a meeting experience and still have that space to get organized. So virtual events, the green room license, MC 688639. It's actually a feature right now for Teams Premium peeps that you can turn on the green room feature when you're setting up your meeting, and Daniel and I can be getting ready in that green room, and everyone else can be happily coming in. We've removed that restriction. People don't have to wait in a lobby we can start to interact with them and chat as well, but they don't actually see us on screen yet. The presentation hasn't started yet. And so that green room is a great place to get organised and get ready to go. Well, what was or currently is a premium feature is going to become available to a whole lot more people without having to have premium. So this will be available to Office and M365 Enterprise E1, E3, E5, Education A1, A3, A5. So you no longer need a Teams Premium license. Green Room will be turned on by default for Teams Webinars, which is interesting. You know, when a feature's turned on like that for a type of meeting, it means that we're in a green room. Okay, how do we get the people to see? So you are going to need a bit of training, right? If you're dropped into this green room, you've got to know how to start your event if you haven't already practiced. So,
I think it makes sense.
I think would be part of the preparation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes sense. Makes perfect sense to me. Making sure you get in, get your ducks in a row, as they say, and it's one of those. I find it being one of those. I wish it already had that, so now we do. So good, yay! And it's free.
Not only
wish
we already had that, but as I read this now, this feature is currently available. So it should be there. If you set up a webinar in Teams and you have one of those licenses, you're good to go. So,
wonderful.
Yeah, there we go. No need to wait. It's ready now-ish. Now-ish now.
Now-ish.
Now-ish now. Hey, Daniel, let's have a retirement party.
Oh.
What? Really? You agreed with me?
Do we get cake?
Are we still doing the show, or is this it?
Yeah, this is the time when we're going to talk about retirement. And, we've got our retirement funds. Well, wait a minute. No, we don't. But we just felt like maybe it's a time.
We'll move into Florida.
Okay. Cool. No. What we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about a couple items that are being retired. Sorry, people. We're sticking around. You're going to have to, put up with us next week. But we are going to have a little bit of retirement party for a couple of things. First up is something that I have used many times. So it's kind of a sad time for me. FindTime add-in is being removed and replaced with Scheduling Poll as a native feature, MC688929. Yes, FindTime, which is a product that came out of Microsoft Garage, right? It was it was kind of which it basically meant it was a tool that was kind of created by one or two people, I think, and then it was added onto and used, but basically allowing you to send a poll to people you want to meet with, and they select the times that they are available, and once you got consensus, it would actually. You could set it up this way or not. It was a checkbox, I think it was, to be able to send automatically the invite. Or you could have it to where you just, you schedule it manually. So now that's going away, and that's going to be, it's going to stop working December 11th. The replacement for this is the scheduling poll, which is, I think, aptly named because it's basically the same thing. We're trying to schedule a meeting and we're sending a poll and trying to figure this out because, frankly, it's the hardest thing that has, we talk about running meetings and all the functions. The hardest thing to do is find when everybody's available, especially if you're having more than 2 or 3 people in a meeting. When is everybody available? Well, we're looking into, it's November now. We'll look till March to see when everyone's, it's so difficult to schedule meetings sometimes. So, I'm glad they're not just getting rid of it, right? And they're pushing us to use the scheduling poll for us to use it. Now, if you don't have access to it, then you can switch and get the early access, the current channel kind of rollout for Office. Remember, we've talked about this on the show before, you could postpone when your users get updated. And so, if, for instance, you've postponed that, they may not have this functionality yet. And so you might have to catch them up and get them to that functionality, or they just won't have the scheduling poll, anytime soon until their Office does get updated. So, Daryl, what do you think about this? Thoughts on FindTime going away, but being replaced by scheduling poll?
Well, yeah, because it was a garage project, it kind of sat out off to the side and probably on its own infrastructure. And so the transition to using scheduling poll instead has been gradual over time already. I've been using scheduling poll already under that name. So this is really just almost like a, enjoy your retirement. Thanks for your
Thanks for
your service,
the memories. Yeah.
But thanks for your service. Isn't that appropriate now?
Yes.
Because we're remembering people's service as well.
That's right.
Yeah, fantastic product. Scheduling poll, get stuck in and keep using it. I don't know what they're going to do to add to it to kind of make it a bit better, but hey, maybe they could co-pilotize it. Make Copilot find the time for us.
But wasn't there a functionality that did that previously?
An AI-driven thing, which actually ended up being not as good as it needed to be. So
it wasn't.
Then farmed it out to some people in a call center just to check the sense of. It was like, never mind. We won't go too far.
What was it called? I can't remember it now.
It was a Cortana service. Remember?
It was
like scheduling assistant or something like that.
Yeah, you said schedule a meeting with these people.
Yeah.
For this amount of time, and it would go out and look at their calendars.
Find me some time.
Yeah.
Go book it. And then this chatbot type thing will go off and try and do that for you, but
see, we've been trying to fix this problem for a long time. So hopefully it'll get better. Schedule poll is nice, but it's still not as clean as it could be. So maybe we can co-pilot that thing. Next message. Who? It's about who? Whom? Who?
Well,
who?
Indeed, right? I remember the first name, but I don't remember the surname, so I'm gonna have to look for it. Who bought? Right. Microsoft Teams who bought to be retired. I know, shake your head. It's just this is just dad joke central.
Bad. Yeah.
But we're well qualified. We're dads. So Whobot was another great app that was available in Teams in early times as a way of trying to find out about people, almost like querying your org chart real quickly. And it was a side app you could add and make use of it. And so that is being retired because they're folding that kind of capability into Microsoft Copilot. Now, don't get too jumpy now. I heard you. You were like, what? We're going to have to pay for that? Whenever I say Copilot, people might think, okay, that's the paid thing. Remember, people, that Copilot comes in various different flavors. And Microsoft
like
Copilot, chocolate, if you will, chocolate with orange in it. I don't know, a mixed flavor. If you are using a Microsoft account for work, that's M365, Office 365, you sign into the browser or sign into Bing, then that Bing Enterprise Search Copilot-y thingo something, which doesn't cost you anything, it's included in your license. That's the official name, by the way. They've had to lengthen it to give the description. Will deal with this capability. So you can search for someone, it'll find, and it'll give you a bit of information about that. So Whobot, thanks for your service as well. It's not one that I used as much though. I think comparing it to FindTime, Whobot sort of came and went.
Awesome.
It will no longer be available after mid-December.
Well, I mean, not awesome like awesome it's going away, but awesome that we finished covering it.
Yes.
Anyway, that is our episode this week.
Yeah.
We kind of quickly went through that, but I think that hopefully we brought some value, and make sure that you give us a thumbs up. Greatly appreciate it. Share it out. That probably is the best thing. If I could ask you to do anything this week, I would greatly appreciate you just share out this episode or any other episodes where you're finding value that we have, and send it out to your team. Send it out on the socials and ask people to watch. We'd greatly appreciate that. Give us a subscribe down below so we can make sure that we connect every week, people. We love doing this, and we love connecting with everyone.
I got a tip too.
Oh.
Like when you share the show, you can also, if there was a particular message you found helpful and you want to let a team member know or someone know, you can use the feature in YouTube to say share from this point in the video. So consider that too. I know some of our community audience use that. We can see the little blips as people jump in and start from there. So that's another good way to just share the relevant stuff about a particular message. So you can skip past all the dad jokes and or get lower doses.
Come on. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We greatly appreciate it. And then until next week, we will see you later. Bye-bye for now.
Yeah. Bye for now.